Hi, Dave here. Thanks for clicking on the link and a little video I want to make on Haarlem. Haarlem's a lovely little city just outside of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. It's a Starfort city. It has got some small Starfort remnants left. But what I wanted to do was, before I start anything, was on the last video I made on Utrecht. I wanted to use Google Earth to show a few things, but it wasn't working on my computer for some reason. But I wanted to put a shout out, and I'll do a shout out again for a chap called Colin Gibney. I'll link his channel in the descriptions box below. But I was watching some amazing videos on Starfort, and he was explaining about Amsterdam first. I'm not, taking any of his work. About basically being, inside a huge Starfort. But what I learned from him was that wherever you find a huge Starfort like that, you usually find baby ones not far away. And Colin started to look just outside of Amsterdam, and he started coming across these things. The little satellites, little tiny forts. And he had a look at one, moved on it, not very far, linked by water, there was another one. And I'll leave it at there, you can go and watch his video, but as you can see, I've started to map some of them. And what Colin pointed out, where you have big Starforts, you usually have rings of baby Starforts around. And as you can see here, I've started to map them, these yellow pins. It virtually surrounds Amsterdam. So anyway, I went on to make a video about Utrecht, and I applied what I'd learned of Colin's videos to the city of Utrecht, which I've just done a video on. You have your city centre when it loads up. What's that? You have your city centre when it loads up here. It is Starfort shaped. Yeah. All the way around. You have your main railway station over here. Shops here. But then I started thinking of what I learned of Colin, and I moved out of that Starfort and started looking around. And lo and behold, where's it gone? The first one I come across was this one. It's a fort that's been cut in two by modern road. But then I looked on a bit further, and what did I come across? But another one. And I won't go any further with that because I've already done a video on Utrecht. But as you can see, as I started mapping these forts out, they're almost a ring around Utrecht. I need to look a bit closely around here. That looks like possibly one there that's dried up. But anyway, back to what I was making the video on, which is a lovely little city. It's a little city called Haarlem, and it's just outside Amsterdam. It's a 10-minute train ride away, and it's a beautiful place. I've been here a dozen times or more. I've always been in the past for the coffee shop culture, but I see this place through different eyes now. And as you can see with the, you can see the Starfort structures up there, but when you come down here, I don't really know. I need to see if I can find some old maps where it actually, the bottom half ends. But what I've done, basically I want to talk just a little bit and show you a few buildings around the square here, strange buildings that have caught my attention. What I've also done to save time, all these blue waves that you see on the map here, these are where I've gone down onto Google Earth to check for evidence of mud flood. buried levels. And all where these blue lines are, I've actually took pictures of. So rather than, you know, in and out and in and out on Google Earth, I'll just show you the pictures. But it is an absolutely tremendous city, it really is. But as in, well, I suppose most cities, your centre feature is the huge cathedral, and it is huge. But I'm just going to show you a few other strange buildings around. I mean, you have your cathedral there, you have your town hall here. That's a strange building in itself. But I'll show you them in photos. Right, these are just a few, you know, buildings that's caught my attention around the cathedral area. You do have your cathedral here, but this building here, first off, I'll just blow it up a little bit. The picture quality is not that good, but as you can see straight off the bat, you've got buried windows here. These windows will have been that height at least. So, and I actually think when you actually look at the building proportion, this is the roof band here. The bottom doesn't look in proportion to the top. It does look as if it's been pushed into the ground a few levels. There's definitely half a level missing there, but I would say 2 levels, to be honest. Right, let's get on to the next one. Right, this place, I took this snapshot mainly because of the roof. As you'll hear me mention now in, you know, the videos that I do, what I call high-tech buildings, and what's synonymous with a lot of these high-tech buildings is your tiny little attic. I won't say attic rooms, but attic windows. You've got 2 levels on this one. You have your metalwork right across the top here. And the other thing is, if you notice these here, I was calling them resonators in my last video. I've seen a video, I'll link it below, a chap that's been out in India, in Bangladesh, and some of these finials on top of the castle, although not that shape, have started to corrode, and it shows you the layers inside of ceramics. You know, these are actually a part of the high-tech building, energy gathering devices, I would say, but they all have their own little tiny antenna at the top, every one of them. And I'd like to know the explanation for it. You know, it's not a design feature, that's for sure. Design feature to make it look pretty, that's what I should say. It's not that. It's actually a device, it's a building that has other purposes. This is along the front of the building. We've just been looking at the side, but, you know, the modern frontage there hides anything. But along the other side here, we have the same thing. We have these tiny little windows here, half buried, and these doorways are a joke. I mean, I'm only 5'4", and I can rest my chin on there. So that gives you some ideas how big the doors are. And that's just the one on the other side. It's, you know, the sign's hiding it, but you can clearly see that's the top of a window there. These doors, I've got no idea why they're put in there, not unless there was a midget culture, you know, midget race. And this is just another front-on view. As I say, this is the roof band here. That does not look proportionate. I mean, we know there's half a level missing there, but I would dare say there's a level below that. This building, the town hall, over and above, you know, what a town hall's there to do. You have these capacitors on the top here. You have your antenna there. There's no small windows on this roof. Look at that one. And you have this tower, this bell tower, which is quite strange because opposite the cathedral in Utrecht, there's a huge bell tower there. But what I found strange, I got this image off Google Maps. And Google Maps, when you're looking at an image, it throws up a lot of pictures at the side of the inside of the building. And talking about high-tech outside, I've watched a video by Conspiracies R Us that he was talking about high-tech fireplaces that worked off energy as opposed to what we're led to believe, you know, bloody big logs and things like that. And the first pictures that Google shot at me were these. You know, I cannot see that being a big log burning fireplace, especially when you've got artwork like that above. You know, you can't help now and again but getting wafts of smoke out. It would have destroyed that, I would think. See, here's another one. This has got the black plate on, and they've, you know, they put them logs in the front there to give the impression. You know, the grate wouldn't be that, you know, that much outside the fire anyway. That grate would be inside the fire, not on the outside. This is another one. It's still got the back plate on with the fire dogs, and you have these brass implements up here. I don't know what these are for. And this is another view of that fire, and it also has the brass implements here. Whether that's part of the technology or not, I don't know, because there surely aren't horse brasses. This is along the side of the town hall, the building I've just shown you, as you can see with your downstairs windows here. And what I'll do, the next few pictures I'll show you are where the blue squiggles are on the map that I've shown you, where I've actually gone down and taken pictures of levels below the street. And the thing is, it's the same as with Utrecht, and it's the same as with Amsterdam. It's right across the whole city. If you go down into any street, you'll find evidence somewhere along the street. This has not only got a low level, but it has its own little high-tech system up the top here. A little antenna there, the metalwork up the top there, that's not necessary. And just a few more. Underground car park there. Private accommodation, these. This building, I mean, it's a little bit high-tech. I should have took a picture of this tower, actually, because this is actually a tower. But it's got rooms underneath just the same. There's another one that's, you know, quite discreet. The bikes are hiding it, but you've got your windows there. This is by one of the canals, actually, just the same as Amsterdam, this. You'd have your later edition of the stairs. That doorway, as you can see, was once a window just like them. All I've done is knocked out the few panes at the bottom and stuck a door frame in. The new doorway that goes to the lower level is there, as you can clearly see. That's just a building that's exactly the same. And this is quite often what I see in England. You know, when you walk past these, shops in towns and that, there's just these grills in the floor, which indicate, you know, a level below street. And this church, I've never visited this church. Once I saw it on Google Earth, I just took a few snapshots because it blew me away, really. You have the building next to it, which they call the vicarage usually, but you can see there you've got your half your windows and half are underground. You have your same high-tech roofs. You have your little tiny window there in the roof. And I'll move on to the church here. I'll blow it up a bit. Show you from the top down over. You know, this is supposedly just for a religious building, for praying and really getting in contact with God. So why is all this necessary? You'd have your antennas up the top here. You'd have your copper alloy or whatever it is roof. I mean, the crown at the top there and the metalwork is just staggering. And you come further down, I don't know what this is. But you'd have a little house model that's built in here. You have your windows in the roof, so I keep talking about there. Two statues here. You know, I don't know what these things are. No idea. But with this, synonymous with a lot of these energy buildings, which I believe part of the decommissioning process was blocking up some of these windows. Because you find it synonymous with all these high-tech buildings usually. I mean, even the Grand at Scarborough, that has the same. Right around the top of the building, every third window I think is bricked up. because I do believe the Grand was some sort of technology building, but that's another story. And you move down, and they're just beautiful, perfect symmetry of the place. It just blew me away. So high tech. It's obviously in the mud, and I do believe that this is just a modern attempt to hide, you know, something that's behind there, because I don't believe for 1 minute that this cheap modern stone cladding has anything to do with the original build. But maybe you know different. You can give me your thoughts on that. This is just another bit, you know, it's the same. You have your little sort of roofs in your roof type of thing. I don't believe that statue to be original. I think religion's put its own stamp on by inserting its own statue there. But it's the same all the way down. You know, the perfect symmetry of the building. Right down there, this roof here has a little tiny window sort of roof in it. There's one on the side there. There's two on the vicarage there that I can see. And these are pictures I took 10 years ago. You know, it's the first time I went to this city 10 years ago. And the things that interested me 10 years ago were all up in the air for some reason. And this is the cathedral. It's no different than most cathedrals, you know, the elaborate. I'll just blow this one up a bit. But the elaborate work that's gone into that, and the top of that, which most people can't see and focus on from the ground anyway, you know, this is a device of some sort. You have these bloody things that's on every cathedral, but they're not totally on religious buildings, because I've seen them on other type of buildings. And there again, I do believe that these are part of the technology. I don't believe they're for decoration one little bit. And just move down, you know, I'll come right out. You know, you'd have your little roofs in your roofs that I keep mentioning about. And you'd even have these brick columns here with little roofs on. Why? You know, if people can answer me these questions. This is the back, and it's just the same. There's a little tiny house in there. You have these capacitors, maybe. You have your portal windows, which is synonymous with these type of buildings. But look at even when you come down to your lower levels, your roofs have your little windows in, with their own little antenna on the top. And if you come round the front, you know, that's no different. But this is a modern extension along the front here, and they felt the need to carry on with that. And they all have their own little antenna on the top, every one of them. This building I've already shown you, but as you can see, I was only interested in taking a picture of the top half for some reason at the time. And if I just zoom in quickly, you have your two levels of windows there. I mean, there's nobody at all can live behind there. You know, you couldn't get a single bed behind there. You'd have your metalwork right across the top, and all these roof finials have their own little antennas sticking out to gather energy, electricity, or whatever else they're gathering out the atmosphere. But I do believe that these are still working buildings. They're still working machines. This is the tower by the side of the town hall. These buildings always blew my mind. Whenever I come to Haarlem, I always sit just here because there's a nice cafe here. And even in the winter, they have canopies over, and you know, you can sit outside with the big heaters on. But they're breathtaking. They really are. That row of buildings. And I've got another couple of pictures here. But what really interests me most is the roof. You have your antenna here, and you have your two rows of windows, or wherever they are. Each one has their own little antenna. Please don't tell me they're just for decoration. This is just finishing off here now, really. another one I took 10 years ago, and I took a picture of the coffee shop to warn of the Brits, because I got quite a raw abusive deal in there. But I never thought 10 years later it'd be the building next door I'm interested in, and this downstairs area here. So it's right across the city. So whether you want windmills or canals, whether you want shopping, whether you just want to chill out in front of these wonderful energy buildings, I mean, that's exactly the same as the building I've just shown you. You know, Haarlem's a real great place to go, and it's only a short distance from Amsterdam. So, you know, if you're in Amsterdam for a few days and you want to just quieten things down a bit, it's a lovely place to come.